I never imagined my life would come to this. One moment, I was standing in my dream home, confident in the love I had built with Michael, and the next, I was packing my bags, realizing that everything I thought I knew was a lie. It started innocently enough. Michael and I had been together for 5 years, married for 2. We had our fair share of struggles, like any couple, but I never questioned our bond. He was kind, attentive, at least that's what I told myself. Then came the conversation that changed everything. Why would we need a test? I had laughed when he suggested we sign a post-nuptial agreement. We were already married, committed to each other. The idea of preparing for separation felt ridiculous. I just think it's smart, Michael had said, his voice careful. Just in case, it protects both of us. I waved him off, refusing to entertain the idea. We don't need that, Michael. We love each other. Looking back, I should have asked more questions. I should have listened to the way his tone shifted, how he looked away when I dismissed him. But I didn't. I trusted him. Until the day I walked into our house and found another woman sitting at my dining table. She wasn't someone I knew. She looked younger, nervous, and completely out of place in my home. My stomach twisted as I noticed Michael standing beside her, his face pale, his hands fidgeting. "Who is this?" I asked, my voice steady despite the storm raging inside me. Michael exhaled. "I was going to tell you." I held up a hand.
No.
No explanations. Just the truth. And that's when he said the words that shattered me. "Her name is Emily. And she's pregnant." Silence. My ears rang. My heart pounded so hard I thought I might pass out. Pregnant. With Michael's child. I gripped the back of a chair, needing something solid to hold on to. "How long?" He looked away. "Almost 4 months." The betrayal burned hotter. This wasn't a mistake from last week, not something new. He had been living this lie for months. And then, as if the universe wasn't done punishing me, Emily spoke. "He promised me he would tell you. That we could all figure this out together." I let out a bitter laugh. "Figure this out?" I repeated, my voice hollow. "You think there's anything to figure out?" Michael reached for me, but I stepped back. "I didn't mean for this to happen," he said weakly.
Right.
"It just happened," I shot back, anger finally cutting through the pain. That night I left, and I took nothing with me. Michael had insisted on handling the finances. I had trusted him. And when I finally checked my accounts, I realized the truth. He had drained everything. The house, in his name. My car, paid for by his company. Even my savings, gone, transferred months ago, little by little, to an account I had no access to. I had built my life with him, believing we were a team. Now, I was left with nothing but my name and the suitcase I had packed in a daze. I spent the first few days in shock, staying with a friend while I tried to make sense of what happened. The rage came later, hot, consuming, and blinding. But I refused to let this be my ending. Starting over with nothing wasn't something I had planned. But maybe, just maybe, it was what I needed. Because the one thing Michael hadn't taken from me was my ability to fight back. And that's exactly what I was going to do. It wasn't easy. I found myself sleeping on my friend Jessica's couch for weeks, trying to figure out my next step. Every morning, I woke up to the same crushing realization. Everything I had built was gone. I couldn't dwell on it. I had to move forward. Jessica helped me polish my resume, and I started applying for jobs. I hadn't worked in years, relying on Michael's income while I focused on our home, but now I had no choice. I was lucky to land a receptionist position at a local real estate office. The pay wasn't great, but it was a start. At least it gave me some independence. Every day, I battled the mix of anger and heartbreak. I wanted to hate Michael, but I also missed him. I missed the life we had, the moments that felt real. But I knew that man, the one I thought I loved, had betrayed me in the worst way. It wasn't just about the affair. It was about the lies, the manipulation, and the way he had left me with nothing. The hardest part was facing the legal battle. I had no money for a lawyer, but Jessica's brother, Mark, was an attorney. He offered to help me pro bono, and together, we started working through the mess Michael had left behind. Mark discovered that Michael had been shifting assets for months, preparing for this outcome long before I had any clue. It wasn't just an affair, it was premeditated. That realization crushed me. This wasn't an accident. He had been planning to replace me all along. I refused to be a victim. I worked harder, took on extra hours, and saved every penny I could. I found a tiny apartment, nothing like the home I had shared with Michael, but it was mine. For the first time in years, I had something that was truly mine. I decorated it with thrift store finds and hand-me-downs, determined to make it a home. It wasn't perfect, but it was a fresh start. Months passed, and slowly, I rebuilt myself. I learned to be independent again. I found new friends, ones who supported me rather than judged me. I even started dating, though I was cautious. Trust didn't come easily anymore. Michael reached out once, a weak attempt at an apology, but I didn't respond. I didn't need his words. I needed my own strength. By the time the divorce was finalized, I had found peace. Michael had moved on, starting his new life with Emily and their baby, while I had created something of my own. I wasn't the same person I had been when this started. I was stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever. Starting over with nothing had been terrifying, but in the end, it gave me everything. A new beginning, a new purpose, and most importantly, a life that was truly mine.